Original post: my wife confessed to cheating on me for 4 years because she was bored. Now she's left to find herself. I'm still numb. I don't even know how to start this, but I need to get it out of my system because I feel like I'm losing my mind. My wife, 32 female, and I, 34 male, have been married for 7 years, together for 10. We met right after college, clicked almost immediately, and became inseparable. We went through the usual growing pains, jobs, moving in, financial stress, but I always thought we had a solid foundation. We never screamed at each other, never got physical, no cheating. Or so I thought. Looking back now, maybe I missed signs. The small arguments that felt like nothing. The gradual shift from spontaneous laughter to routine conversations. I chalked it up to life, to work stress, to comfort. I never imagined it would lead to this. About 2 months ago, she started becoming distant. She wasn't cold, exactly, just elsewhere. On her phone more, staying out later with coworkers, brushing off physical intimacy with "I'm just tired." I asked her several times if everything was okay, and every time, she said, "I'm just feeling overwhelmed, I need space, I'm trying to figure some things out." Then 3 weeks ago, she told me she needed a break. Not a separation, just time to clear her head. She packed a few bags and moved in with a friend, or so I thought. I was confused but not panicked. I figured maybe she was going through some kind of late 20s crisis or burnout. I told her I'd give her space. I told her I loved her. For days after she left, she asked to meet. I thought maybe we'd talk things out. Instead, she sat across from me at a coffee shop, stared at me like a stranger, and said, "I need to tell you something. I've been cheating on you for 4 years." Laughed at first, because it sounded like some sick joke, but she didn't flinch. She just kept talking, calmly, like she was discussing the weather. She told me it started as just one guy, someone from work, then another, then another. She said it became easier after the first time, that she compartmentalized it. That I was too nice and too predictable. That she got bored. I needed excitement, she said. I felt alive with them in a way I didn't with you. I couldn't speak. My mouth was open but nothing came out. She kept going. You became more like a roommate. Safe, dependable, but dull. I know it's wrong, but I needed more. Then she said she didn't regret it, not fully. That it taught her a lot about herself. And now, she wants to take more time to find out who she really is. That, too, was 2.5 weeks ago. Since then, she's been living with one of the guys, I don't even know which one. She hasn't reached out again, except for one email asking if I'd be open to a conversation down the line. Me, I've been spiraling. First came the disbelief. The "this can't be real" phase. I kept thinking she'd call and say she was kidding. That this was all some elaborate test or breakdown or whatever. Then came the anger. I trashed the house one night. Smashed a photo frame of our wedding day. I've never been that guy. But I was shaking and crying and screaming, and it still didn't make the pain stop. Then came the guilt. And this is the part that's really messing me up. I feel guilty, for not seeing it. For not being exciting enough. For believing we were happy when she was living a double life. I find myself rereading old texts, remembering little things, her going out late, being too tired, protecting her phone like it was a sacred relic. How did I miss all of that? I started therapy last week. I told my parents everything, and even though they're supportive, I can see the sadness in their eyes. My friends are furious. Some want me to burn her stuff. Some want me to take legal action. I just sit in the middle of all of it, numb and hollow. I haven't responded to her email. I don't know what I would even say. The worst part is, I still love her. Or at least, the version of her I thought was real. The one I built a life with. The one who would make dumb jokes in the middle of movies or steal my hoodies when she was cold. But that person doesn't exist anymore. Maybe she never did, so here I am, alone in this house, haunted by memories and surrounded by ghosts of a marriage that apparently only I was living in. I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to stop feeling like I failed, even though she's the one who cheated, that is. There even a way back from this. Not for the marriage. I'm not that naive, but for me, for my sanity. Why do I feel guilty when she's the one who destroyed everything? Asterisk update. She cheated for 4 years because she was bored. Now she wants me back. It's been just over 3 weeks since I posted my original story. Thank you to everyone who reached out with support, hard truths, and perspective. Even the tough comments helped. I figured it was time to update, because a lot has happened. Some of it painful, some empowering, and some downright unbelievable. When my wife, soon-to-be, confessed to cheating on me for 4 years, I felt like my entire reality shattered. I wasn't eating, barely sleeping, just going through the motions. But after that post, something in me clicked. I realized I could either keep drowning in this grief or start clawing my way out of it. So I made a list, literally, things I can control. At the top were 3 things: my health, my mindset, my future, so I got to work. I started therapy twice a week. It's brutal, but necessary. I also joined a gym again, the same one I used to go to before marriage, made me lazy and rude. I forced myself to get up early, journal, walk outside, eat real meals. The first week was hell, but now, I feel like I can breathe again, maybe for the first time in years. And then, the truth started unraveling, through a mutual friend. I learned that my wife wasn't finding herself during her time away. Nope, she was partying, clubbing, staying out until 4 a.m. with people half her age. And worse, she blocked me on social media, but forgot to block my sister and friends. One of them sent me screenshots, bikini pics, cryptic captions like "finally living life," pictures with a man she once told me was just a coworker. Guess what? That coworker is married with 2 kids. Apparently, she was one of many he'd slept with at their company. Another friend, someone who used to work with her, confided that the affairs weren't occasional mistakes. She was known for it. Flirty messages, drinks after work, care, and a revolving door of emotional connections. I honestly don't even know how deep the rabbit hole goes. That's when I stopped feeling sad and started getting serious. Began collecting everything. Texts she'd sent me admitting to infidelity. Screenshots of her public posts, financial records. Turns out she'd been hiding spending habits too. Emails from her coworker's wife who reached out to me after finding out I opened a separate bank account, met with a divorce attorney, and started locking things down quietly. I don't want revenge, but I do want peace. Can't. For once, I feel like I'm taking back control. Her family, especially her mother, has been surprisingly supportive. Her mom called me after hearing what happened and said, "I don't know who she's become, but you didn't deserve this." That hit me harder than I expected. And then, a small, unexpected light. My sister, bless her soul, invited me to a small get-together. I didn't want to go, but she insisted. There I met someone, not romantically, not even close, but someone who just listened. She'd been through something similar and shared her story. We talked for hours. For the first time, I didn't feel crazy. I didn't feel weak. I felt understood. That alone was worth more than I can say. And now comes the part that makes my blood boil. 3 days ago, I got a message from my wife, done, out of nowhere. No apology, no real explanation, just, "Hey, I've been thinking a lot. I made a mistake. I miss our life. I miss us. I'm ready to come back if you're open to it. Excuse me, if I'm open to it." I didn't respond. She called the next day. I let it go to voicemail. Her voice was different, less confident, more desperate. "We both made mistakes. You were distant too, remember? Things weren't perfect. But I believe we can work through it. I'm ready to do the work now." There it was, the gaslighting, the rewriting of history, the framing of her 4 years of deception as somehow a shared failure. Like I forgot our anniversary or didn't take her on enough dates. And that equaled cheating with multiple men. I haven't replied. I don't know if I will. Part of me still grieves the life we had, or the one I thought we had. I still have memories that punch me in the gut, vacations, holidays, lazy Sundays in bed. But now I question if any of it was real, or was I just the safe bet while she chased excitement behind my back. What's crazy is, I'm not even angry anymore. Not really. I'm just tired, exhausted, at peace, in a weird way. Like I finally see everything clearly. I've changed. She, on the other hand, seems lost. Not in a finding herself way. More like someone who ran too far and now can't find the way back. And part of me wonders, is she reaching out because she truly regrets it, or because her little fantasy fell apart and she wants the stability back? I don't know what I'll do next. My therapist says I don't need to decide right away, that I owe her nothing. That closure isn't always a conversation. Sometimes it's silence. She was bored. I was loyal. And now, I'm awake. Update 2. She wants another chance. But I'm done playing the foolets. Been nearly 2 months since my wife dropped the bomb about cheating on me for 4 years. Since then, so much has happened, and the power dynamic between us has shifted drastically. I thought it'd be good to update, because honestly, I'm still trying to make sense of everything, but I'm far from where I was last week. She reached out again, not via text or voicemail this time, but with a simple request to meet up for coffee. I agreed. I wasn't eager, but I wanted to hear what she had to say face to face. Maybe closure. Maybe a final goodbye. When I saw her sitting there, the nervousness in her eyes was clear. She looked smaller somehow. The woman who once walked away from me to live a double life now seemed fragile and uncertain. But I was calm, collected. I sat across from her, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel like the broken husband. She looked surprised, maybe even a little intimidated by my confidence. I started with a question I'd been dying to ask. When would you have told me if I hadn't found out? She fumbled, stammered, tried to dodge. After a long pause, she whispered, I don't know, maybe never. I nodded slowly, then I asked the next question. If I hadn't caught you, would you still be cheating? Her eyes lowered. She didn't answer. I pressed, be honest. This isn't about forgiveness right now. I need the truth. She finally looked me in the eyes and admitted, I don't think I would have stopped. That hit harder than anything else. She then confessed she never really expected to lose me. She assumed I'd wait, that I'd forgive, that I'd keep being loyal no matter what. She said she took me for granted, which felt like a slap in the face considering everything. But now, she said, she was sorry. Deeply sorry. She wanted to try again. To rebuild what we lost. Even suggested counseling, rebuilding trust, starting fresh. I listened. I stayed silent for a long moment. Then I said, I need time. I'm not ready to decide, but here's what she doesn't know. While we were talking, I was still quietly gathering evidence. Because this isn't just about feelings anymore. It's about protecting myself. A week prior, I discovered she'd been using a burner phone, separate, from the one I knew about, and had a secret bank account I'd never seen. Money transfers, unexplained expenses, trips she never mentioned, and then the bombshell. One of her affair partners, the married coworker, secretly recorded conversations they had. In those recordings, she brags about how easily she manipulated me, how she kept me in the dark, and how she enjoyed the power. I didn't get those recordings from her, obviously. They came from the coworker's wife, who contacted me in tears after finding out. I shared the recordings and my findings with her family. They were horrified. They hadn't realized the extent of her betrayals. Now, the atmosphere around her is cold. Even her closest relatives avoid her calls. After my coffee meeting with her, I made a decision. I filed for divorce. Her reaction, panic. Suddenly, she's mentally unwell. She's fragile and needs help. She accuses me of abandoning her when she's struggling. She's trying to play the victim. But I'm done being her emotional dumping ground. I'm done being the man who stayed loyal while she tore our marriage apart. For the first time, I'm choosing myself. Final update. Divorce finalized. I'm free. And she's left with nothing. It's been a few months since I filed for divorce. And I wanted to share where I'm at now, because honestly, it's been a roller coaster. But the end feels like a new beginning. The divorce was finalized last week. It was straightforward, no drama in court, no drawn-out battles. I'd prepared, thoroughly, documents, evidence, therapy notes. The judge didn't blink at the proof. I walked out feeling lighter than I have in years. I moved into a new apartment not far from my old place. It's smaller, but mine. I've decorated it with things I love, art, plants, books, and it already feels like home. I started dating casually, not because I wanted to replace her, no way, but because I realized I had to rediscover who I am outside of that marriage. It's awkward, exciting, and sometimes hilarious. I'm learning what makes me happy, what I want in a partner, and how to be vulnerable without fear. Physically, I'm in the best shape of my life. Gym, running, better eating habits. Therapy has helped me build emotional strength, too. I'm no longer the broken, confused man I was months ago. Meanwhile, the news about my ex has spread. Her friends have mostly abandoned her, understandably so, after everything came out. Her job is on shaky ground because HR got wind of her affair, coworker, which violated company policy. I won't lie, it's hard to watch her crash and burn sometimes. But I remind myself, that's the consequence of her choices. She's tried to reach out again, sending long emails, begging for forgiveness, calls from new phone numbers, messages from fake social media accounts. But I don't respond. I block. I delete. Zero contact. It's the only way I can heal and protect my peace. To everyone who messaged me, gave advice, or just listened, thank you. You helped me see that I wasn't the problem. Her boredom, her betrayal, her selfishness, none of that was my responsibility. I was loyal. I was patient. I was faithful. She was bored. I'm free. And I've never felt more alive.